Alexander, you want to say a couple of things? His English is getting much better.
Hello.
His magic is good, as we saw up in the media day up in Oxnard. So, if you want to, we can open it up for questions, and then.
Всем спасибо, что здесь собрались. Я очень рад вас видеть. Хорошее настроение.
Рубашка калифорнийская.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming here. I'm very happy to guys see you, and the good vibe is here, and I'm happy, and my California shirt is sitting good here, so I'm open for questions.
Alexander's becoming a California guy now with the palm trees on the shirt.
And the tan. Don't forget about the tan.
Yep. And but on the serious side, it's a big commitment to take your training over here in the U.S. and to lead up to a fight like this. It's a lot easier to train at home, but Aegis has a great training camp set up at the gym and training together with Lomachenko and Papa Lomachenko. It just it's a big commitment on his part, but it also is his dedication. He sees the opportunities for his career over here in the United States that he can build on, and then take international fights again. So if we want some questions, we'll be able to.
I just wanted to ask, we just been talking about what you, Tom, just mentioned, like, we being away from the family, but how about he would be astronaut and flying to the space? Can he take a family and the kids to that ship? No. The doctor that operates, does he take his family and the kids in the operation room? So everybody is different in this sense, and his family in this sense. This is his job. This is what he's going away. He's not going away for a long time. So only like a couple months. He fights, and then he goes back home and he's happy. Even the guys who live here, sometimes going away. Not sometimes, but most of the guys goes to the training camp. So look at the Gennady also. He lives
Running in the snow.
Yeah, he lives here, but for the training camp he goes to Big Bear away. Because these guys are serious. They wanted to be somewhere. They wanted to do a good right thing.
Alexander, I noticed your appearance is a little different than this. Who's your hairstylist now?
Hairstyle.
Who's what?
His hairstylist.
Oh.
Hairstyle's different.
Кто у тебя сейчас парикмахер? У тебя разные прически, как там на фотографии. Вот фотография.
Я понял. Все, что вот это я себе делал, и это я себе делал. Это я.
This is I did by myself, and this is I did by myself. It's me.
Okay.
Is
Like
it
California?
Yes, like me, California. Very like me, California. Kiev, I'm cool. This is.
Take it back here. You find that working out here, training in the West Coast has benefited you quite a bit with the weather and all of that?
Думаю, что у тебя есть какое-то преимущество здесь тренироваться, особенно на западном побережье, как и погода.
Единственное преимущество, которое у меня есть, это мое желание, мое рвение к тренировкам, и когда я их выполняю от начала до конца, как бы мне не было тяжело.
The biggest advantage I have here to train is my desire to train. It's my desire to be the best. And every single training I train, I finished 100% till the very end, no matter how hard it would be for me.
Но то, что здесь тепло, и каждый день я просыпаюсь и вижу солнышко, то это еще больше бодрит. Мне не надо идти на тренировку и одевать теплую куртку, а я могу просто идти в футболку.
But of course, then I woke up every morning and the sunshine and it's warm here. I don't have to put my jackets on. I go to the training with my t-shirt. It helps.
being the great manager that you are, you got manager of the year 2016, how easy was that decision for him to make to go with you to guide his career?
It's a question for him.
Yeah, how easy of a decision was it for him to confide in you to take his career to the next level as a professional?
Как тяжело тебе было сделать выбор, что пойти работать со мной, с менеджером?
Это не было легко. Мы же давно общаемся, так что я сделал свой выбор достаточно осознанно и верно.
I made this decision very easily without even thinking about it because we know each other for a long time.
How did you meet? How did you get together? How did you meet?
He came here, this is kind of like a little story. He came here together with Lomachenko. They came a team from Ukraine. Then I was chasing Lomachenko, so I pulled all my strings in Ukraine to find him. So I tried every single possibility I can. Of course, I heard about the Oleksandr Usyk as well, but at that point, Lomachenko was very interesting to everybody. Everybody was talking about after 2012 Olympics. He's a two-time gold medalist, and everybody knew how good boxing are in Ukraine. So basically, we had I found through a friend of mine who has a friend, and this friend has a friend who knew a taxi driver, and this guy knows that. So anyway, so somehow I met the person who was president of Kiev Boxing Federation, and he knew very well all of these guys. And then I started talking to him. I was just trying to bring them somehow here, and I knew the people from London was talking to them, from England. Everybody was trying to get. And then I and him we got on the phone, and I kind of like offered. I said, "Why don't you come to United States? Bring Faber, bring Vasily, come yourself, you know, and I'll introduce you with the promoters, and we can, we'll make a tour and we'll go around." So next day he calls me and he goes like, "You know what? I spoke and it looks like we're okay to come over to see." I said, "Good, perfect." He said, "But we're gonna bring 14 people." God damn. Like 3 or 4, they're gonna fly business class and hotels, and I thought for myself, this is a pretty big investment, to bring them 14 people from Ukraine, and I wanted them to meet, people in New York. I wanted to bring them to Los Angeles. I wanted to take them to Vegas, and I thought for a little bit about that, and I said, you know what? I'll gamble. I'll take that shot. And they told me right away they're not going to bring just Lomachenko. We're going to bring Usyk with them. We're going to bring another guy from who was in the Olympics, and that's how we ended up. So I got the tickets. I worked on the visas. I make arrangements to make bookings for the hotels, where we're going to go, where we're going to fly. And they came. We met in New York. We went to Sands Casino, Pennsylvania. Sergey was fighting. I think he was fighting White. That night. I don't remember. Помнишь, кого Серега боксировал в Сенсе, когда вы приехали? No, it's okay. So we went to there, we met with Kathy Duva. Kathy Duva fell in love with this kid right away. She was kind of like, wow, I like Usyk, She says, like, I don't think I can do much for Lomachenko, but I like Usyk. So we went to New York. I showed a little bit New York. Then we flew to Los Angeles. We came here. We stayed right here across the street at the Western Hotel, and we went to Golden Boy office. We met with Eric was there. Richard Schaefer was still working for the Golden Boy. Richard was there. We were sitting, we were talking about. The guys was so happy, and they stepped out probably, this is who we're going to be work with. And then we went to Las Vegas, came to the office. We came to Top Rank's office. It was on the Bruce Trampler and Brad Goodman. So they didn't know much what to talk about it because Bob Arum was here in Los Angeles at the press conference for Martinez. No, Martinez was.
Chavez?
No. It was the press conference for
Timothy Bradley.
Timothy Bradley and Marquez.
Marquez.
Yeah, Timothy Bradley Marquez. So Bruce, when we came to the office, Bruce called Bob Arum and said, we have a Lomachenko in the office. And Bob says, what? Lomachenko in my office and I'm not there. You know? Everybody was telling me they can bring Lomachenko. He didn't believe it. We're in the office. So we all then already not me, but Bob, flew us to Los Angeles same next morning. And we came and we talked. That's how everything became. Was our first meeting. But then talking with a promoter. So Oleksandr was that time cruiserweight division was completely dead, absolutely. So Oleksandr said, I told Oleksandr, I said, if somebody's going to take you here right now in the States, they're just going to take you because you coming with Loma. So I said, my advisement would be, as much as I want to work with you, don't take wrong, but much better would be if you go back to Ukraine and you start there, then you show what you can do, and then come back here to the United States. And then you're going to be ready, we'll bring you back to the United States. So basically, been saying, we just became boxer and a manager in the last days. It's not true because I knew him, he knew me. We always was in a contact, calling each other, talking about what's going on. And he was always coming for Lomachenko's fight, every single one. So we spent a lot of time. We did a lot of talking, and we knew one day we're going to be sitting, like here in front of a press as a boxer and a manager. So it's not surprised, and that's answering the question how we met. Sorry for a long story.
How does it feel about being on HBO?
Как ты себя чувствуешь на HBO?
Хорошо, счастливым. Я вообще рад, что HBO меня так показывает. Я когда-то давно, но меня спросили, я там боксирую в Украине, когда вы будете боксировать в Америке. Я говорю, не переживайте, я скоро буду боксировать в Америке, обязательно на HBO.
I'm very happy, of course, to be on the HBO, and I'm very happy HBO showing my bouts because a lot of times when I was fighting in Ukraine, a lot of people was asking me, "Oh, you're fighting here in Ukraine. How about in the United States? Are you going to be fighting in the United States pretty soon?" And he says, "Don't worry about it. I will come. If I'm going to be fighting in the United States, it's going to be on HBO." So it's a pretty good statement.
Talking about your last fight, how satisfied were you with your performance?
Как доволен ты был своим выступлением в прошлом бою?
Я уже одержал победу, я доволен. Happy. I'm winner.
I want to fight. I'm happy.
Oleksandr, how is your return, the change in your trainer, how is your return to Mr. Lomachenko?
Just to make it clear, Anatoly Lomachenko is not Oleksandr's trainer. Somebody made a very false statement, and I believe Mr. Bashir did, that he stated Anatoly Lomachenko was going to be his trainer. He just had the feeling about what Oleksandr is going back to Anatoly Lomachenko. But that was a completely false statement. His main trainer is Russ Unberg.
How has your change in training been for you?
Как тебе изменения, какие изменения в твоей подготовке с новым тренером?
Ну, я если сейчас не буду ему рассказывать, они все напишут, и он узнает. Есть, естественно, небольшие изменения, но не такие большие масштабные, потому что мало времени для того, чтобы что-то менять. А вот уже, я думаю, что дай бог, что пройдет удачный поединок, и тогда мы будем что-то новое делать. Сейчас все хорошо.
If I'm going to tell you right now about those changes, you guys are going to write, and my opponent is going to know about it. but we're working on it. There is some changes. It's minor changes. It's not a big changes because it's a too short time. We can't make a big changes in a short time. But yes, we're making some changes in that. But everything is going very good.
As a fighter, growing up, who did he style himself after? Because he's very unique, very skillful for a cruiserweight. Cruiserweights don't carry that kind of technique that he has. Who are some of the fighters that he admired that he styled himself after?
Как ты можешь назвать свой стиль бокса? Сейчас как бы в крузерах нету столько много боксеров, у которых есть такой талант, такие преимущества. Как бы ты назвал свой стиль бокса?
USA. Usyk Саша Александрович.
You're one of the top cruiserweights. Do you plan on coming up to heavyweight division?
What did he say?
No, you just say USA like the United States. USA is Usyk. Alexander is like short name Sasha, USA, and his father name is Alexander, so USA.
My son.
This fight is coming up with,
I think she has good
No,
answer.
he's one of the top, well, he is a top cruiserweight. Do you plan on coming up to the heavyweight division?
У меня есть планы, естественно, но давайте пока побоксируем здесь. Есть хорошие парни, с которыми, хорошие бойцы, с которыми нужно побоксировать. Потом уже думать о тяжелой, о heavyweight.
Yes, of course they have plans, but let's not talk about that. There's plenty of good guys, champions right now at the cruiserweight division where we can make a good bout.
Мне еще нужно 3 года.
I need three more titles.
3 more.
So being undisputed, before moving on to the...
Gentlemen.
this upcoming bout with Michael Hunter seems to be a pretty evenly matched fight. What went into the decision to choose this particular guy? And do you know anything about his history?
First of all, it wasn't his decision. Just the team told you're gonna fight him.
Hunter, just so you know, Mohammed, Michael Hunter, you know, with his amateur career and representing the United States, it was someone that HBO had approved and also important, someone who actually agreed to take the fight with Alexander. So it worked out, you know, from both sides. And, you know, when I ran the name by Agus and Alexander, then, you know, they had agreed, they had no issues with fighting Hunter. But, you know, as I mentioned before, it's unusual when you have two, you know, top talented guys so early in their career. They're undefeated, both Olympians fighting each other. So this is kind of a treat, you know, leading off the triple header, having two guys like this fighting each other, you know, both young, both in the prime of their career. And it's going to be a tremendous matchup. We have a lot of respect for Michael Hunter. He comes from a family of you know, boxing, and so he's grown up. We actually had Michael Hunter in Klitschko's training camp as a sparring partner for speed and things like that. So we have a long history with Hunter and a lot of respect for him.
I was surprised by that too, because Hunter's a PBC guy, and him being undefeated in heavyweight, I know, or cruiserweight, I know there's a lot of emphasis of they want to build those guys up. So is he surprised that that he's fighting Hunter, that Hunter went through with the matchup?
I keep telling HBO that I have a good relationship with Al. And,
No, but when I saw like the records and stuff, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I was wondering if he felt like, oh, that's interesting that he would say yes at this point in his career to fight him.
So what was the question then? Whether
Is
he
he
was
surprised that Hunter agreed to fight him?
Ты был удивлен, что он согласился боксировать с ним?
It's not a surprise.
At the same time, it's a big opportunity for Hunter. You know, if he wins on the 8th, then, you know, look, when you're at that point and you have the opportunity to fight on HBO and fight for a world title, it would be kind of silly to turn down an opportunity like that, especially, you know, again, with the cruiserweight division, that, you know, someone's not going to want to fight Hunter automatically, you know, unless they're given an opportunity like he's given on HBO. So I think it's a great opportunity for Hunter also.
You a Nate Diaz fan?
You like me there?
Yeah, because you said his line.
Fighter.
I'm not surprised, motherfucker.
So are you,
Hello, he was trying already. We interrupted him a couple of times, sorry.
She's asking about the undisputed status. How important is that for him before he moves to the heavyweight division? As he was saying that he wanted all 4 titles, three titles left.
Как тебе важно вот, поиметь все еще 3 титула перед тем, когда...
Важно, я прям цель у меня, я хочу стать абсолютным чемпионом мира. То есть вот я тренируюсь, я иду, я думал об этом, когда боксировал по аматорам, это же круто иметь все 4 пояса. Это много работы надо проделать. Потом уже надо шагать дальше.
It's very important, of course.
Просто когда ты объединишь все пояса, тогда не будет разговоров. Тот чемпион. Все, у тебя все пояса, ты чемпион. Вот.
It's very important for me to have all 4 titles because right now everybody's talking, I'm a champion. This is, but then the one guy has all 4 titles. There is no question who's the champion in that division, and it's very important. I was thinking about that. I thought about that even when I was fighting in amateurs. One day I'm going to be a pro fighter, and I wanted to be undisputed champion. It's important.
What do you know about Michael Hunter?
Что ты
His
знаешь?
style,
Что ты знаешь
watching
его
his
стиль?
fight, have you seen tape of him?
Ты видел какие-то?
Я видел все, что о нем известно в интернете или на один бой на Олимпиаде. Все.
I saw everything what is available on the YouTube, on the internet, and I saw his one bout at the Olympic Games, live.
So what does he think?
Что ты думаешь про него?
I don't think Michael Hunter.
I don't think about him. Absolutely, I don't think about him.
Impressed or not?
Ты типа, да, как бы, не, как бы, тебя впечатляет как боксер.
Ну, мы посмотрим это 8 числа. Зачем мне данными... Естественно, это хороший боксер, у него 12-0, он бьет 2 руками, он хитрый, да, ну... Мы посмотрим на все 8-го, но думать о нем, зачем мне о нем думать, забивать голову? Мне есть о чем думать. Я думаю о своей подготовке. Я думаю, что у меня дочка пойдет в этом году в школу, и я должен присутствовать до 1 сентября. О нем я не думаю.
I'm absolutely under think about him. No, he's not even in my mind. I know he's a good fighter. He beats with the 2 hands, and he's slick. He's undefeated, so he's pretty good. But I don't think about him. I have something else in my mind. I have to think about my camp. I'm thinking about how my daughter is going to go to school first class this year, and I have to be with her September 1st at the school. That's what I'm thinking about.
Why do you,
Tom, I had a question for you, and maybe Tony, you can chime in on it also. But Iga said earlier that when Usyk first came, the cruiserweight division was dead, and you got, obviously, fast forward, you got Usyk to debut on HBO. How difficult was that to kind of sell the cruiserweight back to HBO? And Tony, what was your kind of take on the getting the cruiserweight involved?
Well, again, Alexander is no ordinary cruiserweight. You know, breaking Evander Holyfield's record for winning a world title, winning an Olympic gold medalist. You know, he's a cruiserweight, which hasn't really been highlighted in the U.S. But again, it wasn't. He's not an ordinary cruiserweight. So it made my pitch to Peter Nelson and to HBO a lot easier. And you know, being on the same show with Bernard Hopkins, it just it fit well with that show. So, but we think, look, with the right attention, look, with Chocolatito is a perfect example. You know, the smaller divisions weren't highlighted either until he made his HBO debut, and then all of a sudden he became a fan favorite. We think, you know, with the right exposure, the cruiserweight division and especially Alexander, you know, can you know, really break through. As far as in the U.S., in Europe, and in Russia, you know, Lebedev has had a great run at cruiserweight, and you know, Hulk has always had a long run. So cruiserweight in Europe and Eastern Europe has been extremely popular, also in the UK. But you know, with the right attention, we think he can really launch his career over here in the U.S.
Tom, did it help that you also have Murat Gassiev as one of the title holders? Did that help sell
Well, you know, Murat trains with Abel Sanchez, but, you know, I mean, he just beat Lebedev, but I think just in general, having so much talent there, you can see some of these great matchups coming up down the line, but, you know, really at that point, it didn't really have much to do with Murat as much as what Alexander did. You know, again, winning the gold medalist, and his personality, and you know, Peter is very familiar. Peter Nelson's very familiar. When I pitch someone, it's not like I can fool him that this guy's talented or this guy has a great personality or he can be marketable. But I think if he's successful on April 8th, we can do a similar timeline like we did with Triple G, where we can build him up in some of the major markets, whether it's in New York or bring him back here to Los Angeles, and then. You saw the culmination of what we did, you know, 2 weeks ago in New York, where Gennady sold out the Garden for the second time in a row. I think Alexander certainly has the same potential, especially whenever he moves to heavyweight, but just based on his personality.
What do you think is, sorry Tom, I didn't interrupt you. Why do you think we have such fertile ground and see such a rush of Eastern European talent in the last few years? And do any of you want to take credit for that here in the United States? Certainly it's existed there, but they are leading in a lot of the divisions.
They come in hungry, they come in here, they know what they want, hardworking, huge discipline, because we had that in the amateurs. They come into a different country and they know the opportunities, what is waiting for them here. So I think hard work, having talent, that what brings them, you know, stands out.
Do you think that says something about the immigrant story in America? You have one, they have one.
I believe, you know, I saw some fighters coming to the same training camp like from Argentina, and nothing to say about, you know, bad or a country or what, but you know, the guys at nighttime, they go to the bars, you know, they get arrested. You know, here local, you know, American guys, you read the stories, this guy got arrested for the drug trafficking, this guy gets arrested for hitting somebody, chasing a girl, raping somebody, so you know, it's a lot of different stories. I have right now like maybe 15 guys at the camp, and they have their own apartments. Somebody lives with a family, somebody lives without families. You know, if somebody lives like 4 or 5 fighters at the same place, then I go at night to bed. I don't have to be worried about my phone is going to be ringing and, you know, come bail us out. The worst thing I can get, and me and Bernie was talking this morning, the worst thing I can get, a phone call and say, God, man, I got a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
And because, you know, these guys coming from Russia, from Ukraine, from Eastern European countries, they like fast cars and they drive fast.
Tom, I wanted to feed off a little bit of what you said. Denis Lebedev, how he had a great career in Europe. As most of the cruiserweights, they have great exposure out there. Coming up as an amateur, did he keep his eye on the cruiserweight division, knowing he's going to eventually be a cruiserweight as a professional? What are his thoughts of the great fighters of the past, and Tomas Adamek and Steve Cunningham? What is his perception of them? They were world champions.
Когда-то еще проходил в любителях, как бы настраивался на дивизию крузеров, как бы там Томас Адамек, когда был Каннингем, ты как бы думал, что вот эта дивизия как бы смотрела, или не было у тебя?
Нет, я не смотрел, потому что я по любителям-то фиксировал 85, 81. Потом я не думал о них, то есть потом. Естественно, я думал о профессионалах, но я почему-то смотрел тяжелые, heavyweight.
I never never thought about like cruiserweights. I never kind of like pay attention to the cruiserweight division. When I was amateur, I was light heavyweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and you know, then I fought on the heavyweights as a cruiser. So I never paid attention much about the division. So somehow my always concentration was for the heavyweights.
You just tapped into slightly some of the distractions that some of these fighters can be attracted to in this country. How do you compare what goes on here with what goes on back in your country in terms of the distractions that the fighters can be easily lured to?
This is, forgive what everyone asked me, but
Well, I'm asking you.
yeah, well, listen, a lot of distractions everywhere. You know, I'm not saying, you know, that the Russians or Ukrainians are coming here brilliant. I probably got blessed, or I might be making a lot of research about whom I have going to bring into my camp. So that could be a possibility because when you make an omelet and you're going to put the one raw egg into omelet, you can throw away the whole omelet. So if I'm going to bring one of the bad guys to the camp, that could be, you know, that could be a wrong thing to do. So I'm very, very careful whom I bring it to, especially, you know, being with these guys. But, you know, listen, everybody knows how Russia crazy is, and you know, how everything it is. There is distractions in Russia probably even more than here. And I'm not saying, like, you know, these guys are just brilliant or coming, so just, I'm just talking about my camp, what I have going on.
John, can you speak a little bit about how big of a star Oleksandr is in the Ukraine, as far as star power there, and people watching his fight live on TV from HBO this week?
Oleksandr has a little bit of a unique situation where he actually started his career over there in Ukraine, selling out arenas, you know, building naturally off of his Olympic championship as a hero. I mean, they were all heroes. Naturally, you know, Lomachenko had the biggest spotlight, turning professional and winning the gold medal multiple times. But Oleksandr starting there and now making a transition after winning, you know, he kind of took the road of building his career in Ukraine, winning the world championship in Poland against arguably the best fighter against Kowalski. You know, you don't see someone with 10 fights fighting the #1 world champion in their home country, winning that, and then, you know, building on that. And that's really what launched his career on that. But to answer your question, if he does fight in the summertime in Ukraine, he'll have a hero's welcome when he comes back.
And this fight will be shown live in Ukraine?
This fight will be shown live in Ukraine, yes.
Aegis, Alexander is quite the character, but the upbeat personality. Can he touch on who were some of his, I guess, entertainment idols, his idols in entertainment?
Можешь сказать, какие это, говорит, ты уже сам такой, но может какие-то назвать entertainment, музыки, какие-то твои кумиры, фильм, какие-то артисты, то, что тебе нравится.
Or perhaps in film?
Артисты какие-то музыкальные.
Да, мне нравится Вашингтон, как играет, мне нравятся все его фильмы, Джордж Вашингтон, как
Дензел Washington. I like it, Denzel Washington, that he plays the movies.
Музыка, они так не знают, какую я музыку слушаю. Я слушаю музыку Грибы, Баста, 25-17, да, то есть Миша Круг.
He likes all kind of different. He likes like a Russian chanson, somewhere from Russian chanson. I don't know if you guys are familiar or not. It's kind of like music, and he likes new style music, just like rap music.
Украинские исполнители, из которых
There's a lot of Ukrainians, new guys, upcoming guys, Russian guys, upcoming guys. So that's what kind of music you wanted to live. You know, that's music you listen to.
Alexander.
Make me James Brown.
All right. Has Loma taught you a backflip yet?
Лома тебя выучил, как делать сзади сальто.
Да, я в воду могу делать.
Yes, I can do it. but
You
only
can
in
do
the
it?
water, only in the water.
Are we gonna see that on the 8th?
No.
If you're gonna have a pool next to the ring.
Okay, so you need a pool.
Бассейн, если построить.
Yeah,
возле-
yeah.
Okay, okay, not on the ground yet.
To go back to what he was saying about Nate Diaz, he said he likes Nate Diaz, talking about entertainment-wise what he likes. What is he actually, why does he like Nate Diaz, and what does he make of the MMA fighters wanting to cross over into boxing? For example, the Mayweather versus McGregor fight, what does he make of that, of the situations?
Он говорит, есть там, ну, как бы всякие разные идеи, и, например, ситуация такая, как Макгрегор Мейвезер, как ты думаешь, вот это, в такой ситуации? Хорошая идея, хорошая идея.
Это полная чепуха, мне кажется. Это bullshit.
Who's a more suitable opponent for McGregor, Mayweather or Lomachenko? Being that Lomachenko recently stated he would like to do some sparring with McGregor, what does he make of that, being
Что
friends
ты
with?
можешь сказать по поводу этого, потому что там Макгрегор с Мейвезером и Ломаченко сказал, я бы хотел с ним поспоринговать.
Он не сказал, что он хотел бы с ним поспоринговать, он сказал, что он, ну, если тому угодно, ну, если тот хочет, то он может приехать, типа, и я покажу ему пару уроков, а не спарринговать. То есть, ну, там такой момент был.
Lomachenko kind of said, he didn't say like I wanted to spar him, but you know, the way he wanted to say and explain it, like if McGregor wanted to come to his camp, Lomachenko can show him a couple moves and give him a couple lessons.
How big of an influence were the Klitschko's to him, if any, growing up?
Как тебе братья Клички, когда ты рос? Были какие-то кумиры?
Да, я смотрел, конечно, по телевизору мне отец Царства Небесного его нет, он меня будил, нас показывали это в воскресенье в 7 утра, насколько я помню, в субботу, и он меня будил, и я смотрел эти поединки, естественно, ничего себе, они сделали большой шаг, куда бы мы ни приезжали после этого, типа, откуда вы, Украина, Шевченко, футболист Шевченко. Ну, то есть они достаточно много сделали для украинского бокса и для страны в целом, популяризацию этого вида спорта.
Yes, of course. I was following their career when they were boxing. I remember even then my father was waking up like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and TV was showing about from the overseas life, and we were watching that, and they did a very, very big job for the country, for Ukraine, bringing it up, because I remember this, that I was traveling across the board, going to foreign countries, and people asking me, where are you from? And I say, oh, I'm from Ukraine. Everybody say, oh yeah, it's Klitschko or Shevchenko, who was a very popular soccer player from Ukraine.
What does he make of Joshua Klitschko?
Joshua Klitschko, что?
And now, you remember being woken up in the morning. Now people are going to wake up in the morning and watch you.
Сейчас люди будут вставать, как ты вставал смотреть Кличка, сейчас люди будут вставать на Украине смотреть тебя.
Да, встают даже бабушки. Мне моя мама живет в деревне, да, и бабушка говорит, слышь, типа, ну, уже достаточно, там, 70 с чем-то лет. Она встает, смотрит, плачет меня, и она говорит, слушай, говорит, а нельзя там никак, говорит, чуть попозже сделать, еще что-то. Я говорю, да вам какая разница, вы все равно рано встаете.
Yeah, he says his mom lives outside of a city, kind of like on the countryside, and he says older woman who's already like in the 70s, late 70s even, they coming to his mom and saying, look, the TV is going to show your son on the TV, and Lomachenko is going to be there. Can somehow move a little bit to show, because it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Can they show later in the day? And Oleksandr says, what's wrong with you? You are waking up early anyways.
There you go. That's right.
All right, everybody face forward, big smiles, please.
That's what the hip hop guys do. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Come on, Tom, where you going, Tom? Where you going, Tom? Come on, man. Let me get those tickets.
Right. I'm gonna be right on your shoulder, guys.
You good?
Thank you.
Guys, let me get one picture with you guys. One real quick.